last time he was here, he was not a Grammy Award winner, but he is now.
I guess so.
Are you ready? That's
Yes.
it. Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. John Peckman Podcast, Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance, beautiful downtown Portland, Connecticut. Come over the bridge, pull a U, park in front of the music store with the red neon light. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your cats, your dogs, your plants, everybody. You can have your very own podcast here in our beautiful studio. Dave will tell you how. We are here today. He's been here before, but last time he was here, he was not a Grammy Award winner, but he is now.
I guess so.
Mr. Dan Pugach. Yeah, man. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So tell us what the Grammy is for.
It's in the category called Best Large Jazz Ensemble Album.
Wow.
And it's for my big band album that I released this year. It looks like this.
It looks like that. Do I have that one?
You do now.
I do now. Okay. All right. Because I had, you gave me some last time.
Right. I don't remember what I gave you last time when I came over.
I think I would have remembered if it had the dog on the cover.
Right.
Probably would have remembered. So tell us about this album.
So this is mostly my compositions and all my arranging and orchestration, and I'm playing drums on it.
Yep.
And I put it together in 2.5 sessions in New York, in Brooklyn.
Wow.
And we recorded 11 pieces. And the album was inspired by my dog, Bianca. You can see Bianca on the cover. Yeah. So she was a rescue pit bull that we pulled out of a city shelter in New York back in the day. And she stuck with us for like 8 years. And
wow.
So she was very special, and
sure,
she kind of triggered the whole album.
Wow.
I wrote basically like a love song.
Is she still?
She's not around, so she passed in 2018.
Oh wow. Okay.
But she was very special. So she was present at like gigs, rehearsals, tours.
Wow.
You name it. She was there with us. She was so special, and then I wrote a song for her, and then that song later became a big band piece.
Oh wow.
And I tried writing for big band, and you remember I told you about like my 9-piece ensemble last time. So I was doing that pretty much by ear and by trial and error. I would have the cats come over to our apartment and try things out. But when you're talking about big band, it's a whole different story.
Really? Can you explain to us the difference to go from 9? Like, what is considered big?
Big band is 17.
Okay.
It's like 4 trumpets, 4 trombones, 5 saxes, and full rhythm, like a piano, bass, drums, and guitar. Yeah. The nonet is just like whatever. There are different versions. My version is 1 trumpet, 1 trombone, bass trombone, alto, tenor, bari, and piano, bass, drums.
Okay.
You can write for the nonet, and it doesn't have to sound like a big band.
Okay.
But
it's just a it's just a large band.
It's a large, it's considered a larger, but it's still considered chamber.
Okay.
Under 10 musicians, I think it's chamber.
Okay.
So it has that vibe. It has that individualism.
Sure.
You can hear and you can focus on the actual individual instruments.
Right. So not sections like in a big band. It's more.
Not so much sections.
Okay.
So when you get into section writing, you have to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so I had to teach myself how to do that.
Okay.
So I took a break from the nonet and I started studying books.
Wow.
Because I didn't really go to school for that. So like if you remember, I went to Berkeley and City College, and I got degrees in jazz performance. You can, you can't go to the supermarket with those degrees.
Right.
But I wasn't really interested yet in writing at the time, so I kind of skipped that. I was like, let me just play.
Yeah,
and I'll get to New York and I'll work.
Sure.
Nope.
Yeah.
So actually, when I got to New York and I realized there are no gigs waiting for me,
Right.
that's when I started getting interested in writing and arranging, because I realized I can create an opportunity to play.
Sure.
Why 9 musicians? Like it's not very cost effective, but that was, I had an assignment. Someone asked me to write for that ensemble, and I took the challenge, and I realized I like the sound. I like that there's like one of each.
Yeah.
Kind of like one of each instrument.
Yeah.
And there's a lot you can do with it. But then I realized I have to study arranging and orchestration and some harmony and like catch up.
Sure.
In order to write for the.
Is there a lot of nonet? Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Is there a lot of that repertoire out there?
Not so much. Not like the big band.
Okay.
Maybe these days, maybe more.
Okay.
And also, we're more aware of stuff that's out there thanks to like internet and stuff. But
is there a famous first nonet?
Like Miles Davis.
Okay.
Birth of the Cool was actually a nonet. That Gail Evans was writing the arrangement, and that was also a very unique ensemble. It was like one French horn, one tuba, one alto sax.
I see.
Miles on trumpet and like a weird ensemble.
Yeah.
That's what's kind of cool about that ensemble is like each nonet, no two nonets sound the same kind of.
Right, because like you say, there's no rules. Some people have 2 trumpets, 1 trombone. Right.
Or like less horns and more rhythm, or
Sure.
like you can do whatever.
Sure.
But yeah, there's not a lot of it out there. I got hip to writing for a nonet through Alan Ferber, who was a trombone player in New York.
Okay.
He writes for a nonet and big band, and I was like, oh, I can.
Wow.
Let me explore that.
Yeah.
And there we are. So now I'm taking a big band out.
Wow.
And playing concerts in the city and Connecticut
and you just decided enough with the nonet, like you just.
No, the nonet is still around.
Okay.
It's kind of cool. So when I started writing for the big band,
yep,
it kind of changed my writing for the nonet because when I was writing for the 9-piece ensemble, I had the big band in my ears the whole time. I was like, let me make that sound as big and as rich as a big band.
Okay.
And
then you just thought, let's just do it for real.
And I was like, once you do it for real, you realize that the nonet is not for that. So the nonet now the way I write is a little more individual lines, less like just like
sure,
sections together.
Sure.
It's more sneaky.
Yeah.
More counterpoint, more sneaky, and then when everybody's together, it has an impact, but it's not just
right.
A lot of it.
Like you say, you're trying to make the nonet sound like a big band.
Right. So now I don't. Now I try to have the nonet sound like a nonet.
Hey, that's cool.
And focus more on the individual sound of the musicians in the band, and more of that like trio vibe, more of like a small group vibe.
Yeah. So do you have a new nonet album with that writing approach in mind?
Not yet.
Okay, but that's what we're doing.
But I think I have a day left to apply for this grant.
Okay.
And that would be with the nonet. So
wow.
For and like a new commission type of.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that you won a Grammy for a big band, is that going to help with the grant? It's got to.
Ask the grant. No, it's not going to help. Maybe, but
I'm just saying, like, you don't get you don't get to any further up in the line just because you're like, I want a Grammy, yo.
Unfortunately, or not unfortunately. I mean, it's
right.
It's being reviewed by like just audio. Like people listen to their applications.
Oh, okay. I see.
And only when I think you pass on. Like you pass,
I got you.
You get through, then they look at look if you're a person or not.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
You know.
Yeah. Imagine. Wow. You don't even have to be a person.
Yeah. Otherwise,
You
AI will
submit something. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Hey, that's exciting.
So I'm doing both now. I'm running both a big band and a non-net. So we're playing every Tuesday in March in the city at this place called the Django.
Okay.
It's like downtown somewhere.
Yeah.
And in Connecticut, I'm bringing the non-net to the Butler McCook Garden and House. I think it's in Hartford.
Okay.
A bunch of stuff.
Yeah. It's exciting.
Yeah, it's cool.
Why not?
But wherever we can drive to.
Yeah.
Once flights get involved, it's a different story.
Yeah.
I have to travel either by myself,
Right.
and hook up with local musicians, or maybe fly with like one or two.
Sure.
I have to now discriminate. Like, you're more important than you, so you get to go.
Right. Right, and then you're just in a band with all the band nonsense of people.
Yeah.
Personalities.
Yeah, and the big band also, like, once we go overseas, I mean, the cool thing is that big bands exist, right? So it's like, in Europe, there are like a lot of like radio big bands and different, orchestras that are funded by the cultural something. So I can just show up and be like, hey, and then either play with them or conduct them.
Right.
I don't want to conduct. I'm not a conductor, but
right. Are you the arranger? You're the writer and arranger. So
yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that's what when I'm playing and I'm leading the band.
Yeah.
I'm following a score.
Mm.
So I'm not conducting the band from the drums, but I'm helping with cues and stuff.
Sure.
But there's no person like in front. That
right.
Right. We just follow each other by ear.
Yeah. Well, like you say, I guess if there's a lot of or enough big bands in Europe, they understand the whole thing, because you don't usually. Well, how common is it to have somebody in front conducting a big band? Not always.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you don't always need.
Right.
Like, depends on the music. If it's just like very straight ahead.
Yep.
Then you don't need.
Right.
But in my case, it's all original music, and it's not very common stuff. Like, there's a piece in 11/8, and there's a...
Oh, wow.
And then it goes to 5/4, and then it goes back and forth, and things like that.
So you just maybe physicalize a little bit more.
A little, yeah.
I would imagine.
Maybe give them the one, and just like...
See you later. I'll see you at the end. See if we all end at the same time. That's funny.
What's 1/8 note here or there?
It'll all work out. And
subtract at the end.
If you have a few notes left over at the end, just don't play them.
They just roll over to the next month.
I know. That's so funny. Yeah, that's cool. So you're performing it.
Yeah, I'm going to be playing a lot in Connecticut and New York and in the area. And also I got invited to like Italy to play with their... Or like not to play, to conduct somewhere. So like Nicole's going to be singing with the big band and I'll be conducting. Maybe they'll let me play a song or not. I don't know.
Wow. How hard are you going to be on the drummer?
I know. I mean, I've been in scenarios like that where, during the BMI Jazz Composers Workshop, which is where I was kind of testing the music. Yeah. You get a New York big band.
Oh, wow.
Once a month they would do a reading session, and you're not allowed to play. You're just you can conduct, but it's better if you just like sit back and listen. Yeah. And take notes. So those situations I had to like listen to a different drummer interpret my charts.
Mm. What's that like?
It taught me a lot. It taught me actually to just like play less and stay clear from the melody and from random drum fills and random nonsense that a lot of people do. It made me more of a clear drummer.
Okay, so it affected your drumming.
It affected my drumming because I was like, oh my God, it hurts so much. Like when someone's just like playing the slash chords.
Sure.
And it's just like,
and they're playing nonsense.
Playing whatever. Yeah. And like, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like treat it like a,
Right. I wonder what that's all about. Like, drummer, just temperament. Like, because you're thinking compositionally, where drummers think like drummers, and they want to be, like you say, filling space where they don't need to. Do you think that you? Well, I guess the question I'm asking. Well, I think you just answered it. Is so that your arranging is changing your drumming.
I think so because when I write for, Nicole, my wife, has a lot to do with how it influences my writing, because when you write for voice, and I'm pretty daring with my writing. I'm like, I write against her and around her and on top of her, and like, I'm not too scared, like, but I make sure that when she sings, she can stand out and
sure.
So it affected how I write around a soloist or a melody or things like that, and how I play when that happens.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of shaped my style of both playing and writing, like working with a vocalist and seeing like how like nonsense playing just doesn't help,
right?
Doesn't add on it,
right?
Add anything. And so now I can't unhear it. So
yeah.
And when solos happen and like group improvisation or whatever, go go
sure.
to town. But
sure.
What hurt me was to hear someone just like all over,
right,
before the tune even got to its, the first sentence,
Yeah, right.
I was like, oh, buddy, you're not.
Yeah.
We don't. You also, you can't teach that. You can't also write, play pretty around the melody.
Right.
Like, I mean, you could, but
yeah.
We try to communicate in musically and not with words. So
yeah, it's got to be so individualistic too. Like you say, there might be some drummers that understand that or are more sensitive to, but like you say, you don't want to like come in and empty the bag of all your tricks on the first verse.
That's what people do.
Wow.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Trying to be impressive.
Either impressive or just, I think, out of habit.
Yeah.
Like each bar is a thing.
Yeah.
Bar 1, bar 2, bar 3. They don't think like, zoom out and.
Why do you think that is? I wonder why. Is it big band drummers or jazz drummers?
I think it's jazz drummers.
Jazz drummers. That's how they feel that they have to be.
They're like, what? I'm playing. I'm interpreting. I'm coloring. I'm like, great. So maybe do that can you do that in a consistent way? Can you do that in a cohesive, coherent? Can you do something for this section and then change it for this section?
Right.
So I can appreciate that and then appreciate this and then have something to, or it's just going to be like blah, 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 this cymbal, that cymbal, this cymbal, the drum fill to here, drum fill there, drum fill.
Yeah.
I mean,
interesting.
I'm a drummer myself. You're a drummer. We understand. Like we play songs.
Yeah.
You don't just like play a crash in the middle of bar 3.
Right,
like you're going to get shot.
So do you think, did you think more song? I don't recall. We have to think about your history as a player. But do you play more song-oriented playing? Is that come naturally to you, or is that what you're learning now as you hear people interpret your work?
The latter, yeah. Because I used to play all over the place.
Okay.
And way too much.
Okay.
And even to this day, probably still maybe too much, if I play with someone or.
Yeah. Because you're coming from that jazz tradition of pushing all the time.
Yeah.
Exploring.
Of just exploring and coloring and individual and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Great. But you're also a part of a bigger thing. Can you step out of your
Right.
So it's funny, once I started working constantly with a vocalist, and I don't think it's something that she had ever said. It's just something I took for myself from working with the vocalist or being at those gigs and rehearsals. You listen back and you're like, what an idiot.
Oh.
What are you doing? What are you playing?
Wow.
What are you doing?
Yeah,
so
sure. We all have those moments. I mean, I've gone through them too.
Yeah.
I can remember, I'm more of a rock drummer or whatever, but I was young and thought, I could do anything. I could play anything, and thought I was the coolest guy in the world. And I was in my rock and roll band and we played a gig and someone videotaped it. I thought, I'm going to go home and see how cool I sound. And I was the same thing from the outside. I was like, is he ever going to settle on anything or is he just going to fool around the whole time? And also, 3/4 of the things that you think you're landing, you're not even landing them. You know what I mean? Like, I just was like, kind of what you're saying, when you hear the playback, when you're not in it and you're, as a listener, you're like, oh no. And I totally tore my style down. Like, I got to the point where I would just do gigs with hat, kick, snare, and one cymbal.
Yeah.
I didn't even add a tom for months. Like, the guys in the band were like, can you bring a tom? And I'm like, not yet. Like, I had to just, because, so I know the feeling.
To like restrain and think of the song and the bigger picture.
Yeah.
It's hard to, I mean, I'm not judging myself or anyone.
Sure.
I'm only saying that these days that's kind of my style of playing. And again, probably only when I'm playing my own stuff, that I'm like very careful.
Yeah.
Because I think other band leaders would expect the drummer to like keep creating new things and new ideas and new stuff and generating new grooves and new. How much can you explore without conquering anything and saying, "Oh, I like this. Let's do this," and dig into this and explore this one thing and not just explore in the dark, just like. Ooh.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
I guess it happens.
And then when I get a solo, I take a solo and I go at it. I'm just like,
sure.
I can do. I'm kind of saving it in a way.
Right.
So that I can play subtle and pretty and, here and there I can get a little sophisticated or joke around with the bass player or react to the rhythm or to whatever's happening. But not right off the bat.
I wonder if, do you think being more sensitive to the vocalist since you're married to one, well, I guess you said that too, right? Just makes you more generally aware, right?
Maybe it's out of fear, because we're married.
Oh,
so I don't want to hear about it.
Yeah, you can be wrong then too.
I'll be wrong no matter what.
Right.
So
that's what I'm saying.
Might as well play what I want. No, but I like I said, it's not like something Nicole or anyone has ever said to me.
Right.
It was more of a. I think it really hit me when I put my own music in front of myself with a different drummer.
Yeah.
And I was like,
oh boy.
Oh wow, why is it slowing down? Why is he not getting it? Why is it?
Right.
Why there are no dynamics? Why is it all just like one cymbal, and just like no build up of like tension and release or
because they're not thinking like a composer.
Yeah, so
that's why you're more than a drummer.
Maybe, I don't know. But maybe you can't really
if drums were enough for you, you just would have played drums, right?
I mean, they're enough. I like the drums.
Yeah,
I'm happy. Listen, I'm doing this so I can play drums.
I see. Okay.
I know composers who are very serious about themselves as composers, which I'm not.
Okay.
and they're like, I'm gonna write and then conduct and do this and the blah 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 blah, and they don't need to play in the band, which is also fine. That's totally legit. Some musicians are better composers than performers. Some are good at both, but they want to be the conductor. I have no business in conducting, and I'm writing for myself to play. I'm treating the big band as if it's a trio. I just want to play.
Right.
So
and other people's compositions don't have the thing that you want to play. Otherwise, you'd just be a drummer. You'd be that guy. You'd be the guy just playing the chart. But you want to create. And I do that too,
and I'm happy doing that too. You know, like I'm happy like just being a sideman and playing for other people.
Yeah.
Guilty for overplaying, you know, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna, you know, you're not writing too specific. I'm just gonna play until you tell me to, you know, to calm down or to Because what I also noticed is it's really hard to have someone to tell someone to play. It's easier to tell someone to relax. You know what I mean?
Say that again. I know what you mean. I just want to.
You know what I mean? So, if a musician is like just like very polite, and he's just like playing the chart and nothing more, it's hard to say, bro, can you really play the instrument? Can you get in there?
I got you.
It's easier to just like go at it and ask someone to tone it down. And be like, less. I need less here.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
If someone's not bringing it, to tell them to like, can you bring more? If they are bringing already, if that's then you offended them. So, you know, gotta be careful with that. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of psychology involved.
I do. I know what you mean. It depends. Like a lot of times, I might be actually the kind of drummer that you might have to tell, like, you can play more, because I'm always trying to think of this, the way my world works. I'm trying to think of the style. Like, I don't want to play something that's going to be inappropriate, because a lot of times, you know, if I'm playing a Led Zeppelin tribute, or I play this kind of oldies thing, you don't want to play the wrong thing. Like, you don't want to play something that goes outside of the style that this is supposed to be. So, you know, I'm not going to like play something that's outside that. Like, I tend to play it safe because I'm trying to figure out what the style is, what the limitations of the style is. But when you're writing for big band on your own, how much are you following? Like, how much of a tradition is there, first of all, and how much are you following it, or how much of this is completely unique? And then also, how did all of that play into you winning the Grammy? You know what I mean? If you could answer all, you know what I mean? Like, are you on to something? You must be.
Am I?
Well, how does one win a Grammy? Maybe we'll work backwards from there. What do you think distinguished your work?
I think it was well recorded, and well mixed and mastered. I think that's the first thing.
Okay.
Like if we go backwards.
Yeah.
I think the product has to
be legit.
Sound amazing, sound pristine, well recorded and mixed,
and you knew that, so you were like,
I don't know if I knew that, but that's just,
you know, when it's not right.
Yeah, so you know, we mixed it and mastered it, and the people at Bunker Studio in Brooklyn, they did an amazing job, and you know, I love that studio. So
they must have a big room.
Yeah, they have a big room. We put 13 horns in one room, and then the piano and guitar were in a different room, in a booth, and then the bass in a booth, and I had like a bigger booth, and then Nicole was in the control.
Wow. Live?
Yeah.
Wow. One take, like boom.
No, she's a Superman like that.
Wow.
One take or two take, you know, like.
And the whole band, everything is live, no punches, just boom. Wow.
Not only that, but even the solos. I know a lot of big bands don't have the soloist with them. They just like record the chart.
Sure.
And then they bring in a soloist to overdub. It's cleaner.
Sure.
It solves a lot of problems.
Wow.
No, not my vibe. I mean, depends on the gig. Like,
Yeah.
There are good things about it, but what I miss is the actual live interaction, live thing.
Yeah.
So that's the way I approach this big band.
Wow.
Is it's all live.
Wow.
But and then the composition. Well, first of all, the solos, all of them were like really like top notch, and very different and very individual and very unique. Like on each piece, like the music itself is also new and original. I mean, it's within. You press play, you'll be like, oh, okay, that's jazz big band, but it's not something you've necessarily heard before. These are new songs. These are they comprise of my influences and my personal taste and also my playing. And I don't know if my drumming is unique or it's just normal, but that plus the writing, I guess.
Yeah.
Created a thing that's that maybe stands out. And if you compare it to, let's say, other projects that were nominated or that were on the ballot, maybe some of them were more traditional sounding big bands, like like swinging and stuff like that. Which I'm not against.
11/8.
I'm doing 11/8, but I'm also doing swing and stuff like that.
So you think they recognized that it was progressive in a way?
Maybe it has a unique sound, and also the narrative and the whole story and the whole inspiration behind the record.
So it all adds up
with the dog rescue and all that. I think helped get it heard.
Yeah. Were they aware of you? So your wife won.
She won last year, right?
Okay.
With her her album that she wrote. She also wrote everything and arranged and produced and did everything.
Wow.
And I only played the drums on it.
Did you play exactly what she told you to play? Just kidding.
No. But also, I wasn't the only drummer.
Oh, wow.
Because at the time, I was like, babe, I'm trying to be like a good friend and a good husband and a good supporter. I'm like, and she got Christian McBride to play bass and co-produce it with her. So I was like, babe, if McBride wants someone else, like a famous or like whatever, don't
feel bad.
But we're cool.
Yeah.
You have my blessing.
Yeah.
If it helps the project.
Yeah.
So he did bring someone, and he did play on a few songs, and so there are two drummers. So you can hear a little bit of the difference. I'm a little bit more. I think I'm a little crispier. I come from like Roy Haynes.
Okay.
I don't know if if like rock drummers or whoever watches this knows Roy Haynes, but it's I heard of Roy Haynes on Chick Corea's album Now He Sings, Now He Sobs, and that sound, that crispy ride was just like changed my life. And
he just died last year, Roy Haynes.
Yeah, I got to meet him a couple of years ago.
Oh, cool.
I didn't know what to say to him. So I was like, I'm a huge fan.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. Whose house is this? Where are we? I was like, wow, okay, he is 100.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So anyway, so we recorded it, and
who was the other drummer? Was he of note or just whatever?
Some note, I don't know.
Okay. You don't
Billy Kilson.
Okay.
Yeah, a great drummer, and
he was different.
He was very different than my playing. So.
And she chose like he'll be good on these or whatever. Well, I could ask her someday.
You can ask her. I think McBride didn't know that I can play.
Oh wow.
He kind of assumed that I'm just her husband.
Yeah, right.
So I think he brought someone that he thought would do the job.
Yeah.
So the first day they did they did their session, and it was, it went well. It was great.
Yeah.
And then I came the next day, and we did more music, and both sounded good, and it worked out that both of us are on the album.
Hey, that's cool.
But no, I guess she didn't tell me what to play because the music was still new at the time. I think she didn't really know.
Okay.
So as long as she doesn't say anything, do not ask questions.
Right.
I know a lot of musicians who try to be at service.
Yeah.
And they're like, "What do you think I should do here?"
Right. Right. Well,
No.
like you're saying, you put it
Just
out, put it out there, and then we can make But you,
yeah.
I see what
Play, and then she'll
Right.
turn you down or tell you to do more.
Right.
But don't ask.
Well, you got to start from somewhere.
Yeah, you gotta.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Because the artist is so busy with their problems that
Right.
they're trying to solve. You coming up with questions is just another distraction, another thing they have to deal with.
Right. I got you.
Even the horn players, when I ask, "Hey, what do you think I should do?" What do you think I should do is already like there's a problem within that sentence. Right? You're the composer. You put this together.
Yeah.
You better know what you want.
Yeah. Right. Right.
But even when like a trumpet player was like, "What do you want? Do you want this or do you want that?" I was like, "What does it say on the paper first?"
That's what I want.
Oh, this is that. I was like, "Yeah, that works." Like
Right.
I'm not trying to open it for philosophical.
Sure.
The bass player in the recording session, he was like, it says to change to bow at some section and then go back to plucking, and I was like, "And did you do that?" He was like, "No." I was like, "Okay, sounds good to me. Can we move on? Like, let's not worry about what's written. Let's make music together. Use your ears.
Yeah.
And you teach me my own music. Like,
wow, nice.
I need you to pull your weight. I can't just like,
right.
Tell everyone what to do. Like, I'm bringing a suggestion. I'm writing the music. Here's something. Let's make music out of that."
Yeah.
Other composers I know are like, "No, it's this note. I'm like, "Dude,
yeah,
we're not here for you. We're here to make music."
Right.
That's kind of the difference.
Yeah. Well, you got to trust the players. Do you know that many players well enough to know? Like, do you get to that point where you're like, all right, I know that these particular individuals are going to likely make the right choice, or I trust their choices? Do you know each player that well?
I got to know them during the process.
Okay.
And so if you ask me, like, not everything, maybe not everything I did I would do necessarily again the same way.
Sure.
I like the product. I like what we did, but I learned a lot. So I would maybe, I don't know, maybe change solos a little bit, or I'm still learning.
Yeah.
But when I was doing the 9-piece ensemble, I got closer to the musicians in a way that you can really hear each individual.
Sure.
Because it's so smaller, and the solos are usually more open and more. They can kind of go anywhere.
Yep.
Because you have more time and less people on stage, just like waiting for their part.
Right.
So.
Wow.
So you learn that's how you learn about their personalities and about their musical taste and their tendencies. And then you make decisions based on that. And also sometimes it's fun to just like change it up.
Yeah.
To give this section or this solo on this piece that's very, I don't know, maybe esoteric or modern or something, to give it to this guy who's only playing like bebop and just to see what happens, how he what people do with it.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. I kind of went back and I was listening to like because I had somebody reminded me of this lately, and I don't know if I really ever understood it, but that's like the Money Jungle album where you have Duke Ellington and Max Roach and Mingus, and it's like Duke is out of his zone, but yet still, you can hear him like figuring it out, and it's kind of cool. It's exciting.
I love Duke Ellington.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Yeah,
you know, but I guess that was a big deal then, that they were like, "What's going to happen?" Because he kind of, I don't want to say old fashioned, but you know, he's wouldn't be that kind of player that you would think offhand.
Yeah,
but he kind of went for it. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
He
like
evolved with the music, you know, like
right,
he kind of evolved the music.
Yeah,
he was
sure.
ahead of his time, and
for sure.
I'm not ahead of my time. I'm just within. I'm living within a genre. Maybe I'm kicking it a little bit here and there.
Well,
you know, with like the meters or like the harmony or the way I treat, or the melodies. Also, like my melodies are very singable. I think because I don't write it from the fingers or from I don't know what. You know, I can't play an instrument other than the drums.
Okay.
I can sit at the piano, pluck some chords and stuff slowly, and boringly.
Well,
and you don't want to be around me when I'm writing. Nicole hates it.
Oh, really?
Because it's like,
yeah. Just one thing. Yeah.
Just like I'm.
So you can't tell what the whole thing's going to be at all. It doesn't sound like anything.
No, because I'm just experimenting with sound, and I'm looking for melodies, and
wow.
I try to sing them like in my head, and usually I started the drums. So like I would go to the set and just play, accompany like a groove or a mood or a vibe, and I'll stay there for a minute, and then I'll start like humming or buzzing or whatever.
Sure.
Not really specific notes or anything like that. I don't have like perfect pitch or anything. I'm just
sure.
I like play along, like play against the meter, play with the meter, and be like, okay, at what point do I break from it? At what point do I write a different section?
Yeah.
Or a little vamp to go back. You know, like I'm doing it on the drums.
Yeah.
Because I'm writing for myself to play that music.
I gotcha.
And kind of also lead, you know, because there's no conductor from outside. I can't just like, I could, but it's not the stuff I want to listen to, frankly.
Right.
So the stuff I want to listen to, once you count it off, I want the tune to be a tune. I want the piece to be about one or two things. I don't want it to be about 15 things.
Sure.
Where by the time it's over, you don't even remember what the melody was about.
Right.
There's like theme 1 and theme 2 and interludes and schminterludes, and it's all very rich and interesting.
But then you're like, I gotta listen to 12 songs.
Right. You know, like I don't remember anything. I don't know what you know. So with this, it's like I really tried to speak like in that jazz world, with rich harmony and cool stuff, and you utilize the big band for everything it can do, you know, like quiet stuff, loud stuff, everybody, or just like groups within the group and different textures and different sounds and different everything, and then use the rhythm section and put the rhythm section with like, you know, left hand piano and upright bass doubling with like bass trombone or bass clarinet, and doing like little cool things, but keeping it clear. I think not dumbing it down, not simplifying it, but making it so that you can take something home and be like, oh yeah, he played that song which goes like this, and then he played this song which goes something like, I don't remember it, but it was like vibe. It was like a New Orleans vibe, and then there was like a ballad vibe, and then there was this like Bulgarian sounding in 11/8. It's kind of like sounding like a Balkan, you know, like. And I think I succeeded in conveying like each tune has a different vibe, different type of.
And only you could create those particular elements, bring those elements together.
I guess so.
Drummer, you know, like you say, if you could just blow on the horn, your arrangements would probably be different. Like your arrangements are more interesting or careful because you're you're going over them a note at a time, like you were saying before.
Maybe I'm writing stuff that I can sing.
Right. Yeah. Right.
I'm just writing it in slow motion and then have them play.
So it's not like you say. It's not clever.
It's nothing too clever. And I also try to hide the cleverness in the mix. I don't want the clever to be the front. I want the song and the idea.
Right, and there's depth there. If you look for it, the depth is there.
It's there. It's not existing. It's just well hidden.
Which is not easy to do. Like you say, that's a restraint of. I'm sure some composers would be like the drummer that we're talking about that annoy us, that are going to go, look at this clever thing I did and bring it right to the front.
Yeah.
Right?
I just listened to something this week. Someone sent me, like a young guy sent me something, and I press play, and the first thing is like already like a cluster or like some weird stuff that's moving around. So the melody is already harmonized in like I don't know how many, 5 voices or something.
Yeah.
And before you know it, before you even got the melody or like the first chunk of it, there's already like a counter line of trombones or something that's already like doing sophisticated stuff against it.
Yeah.
Now you have to not only digest new stuff, but new stuff in the new stuff.
That hasn't been established yet.
Hasn't been established,
Yeah.
And I also made that mistake when I started writing at first for big band.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is going to be the most
sure
expensive, rich, crazy, dissonant, yada, yada, yada. And it gets so you don't even like it. Even as a composer, you're like, you hear it for 2 seconds and you're like, oh, too much, too soon.
Right.
And also that sound gets so tiring because it's such a big ensemble. It's loud.
Right. Sure. So it can be fatiguing.
So it's fatiguing right off the bat. If you don't control the tension and release and the dynamic and like have a clear arc that kind of like plays itself towards that, like some songs play themselves, right? It's like the verse is no drums, and then second day you come in, and then pre-chorus, cymbals, and then boom, I don't know. There's like a I lost the train of thought, but I'm trying to.
I'm following you. Yeah, you're all of that.
All these elements help the music come out clear and.
Well, I guess that's the whole point of being a composer. You're trying to make what you want to hear.
I think so, yeah.
Right? And sometimes you're reacting against what you don't want to hear. And then you put all that together from your perspective. And
I think so. I never thought about I never thought about it.
Right, that's not your job.
I'm not even like considering myself like I'm a composer. Yeah, it says on my thing that I'm a composer because I'm composing.
Sure.
But I don't take it that seriously, like, I'm a composer.
Well,
like...
after the 5th Grammy, you might...
Maybe the 5th. Let's talk after the 2nd.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's 2 in the family already. So
Nicole... Yeah, but she also won a Grammy with me.
Oh.
Because she co-produced it.
She's winning.
She's winning.
Yeah.
She co-produced it, and she sang on it. She's the featured artist.
Wow.
And she also... wrote 3 songs on it.
Okay.
And she also gave me hell in the recording session. So,
really?
Oh my God. We fight in front of the band.
Oh, nice.
Like it's not even, like as if they're not even there.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, I guess whatever it takes, right?
Man, at one point she's like, what is this? Wow. So I brought this, she wrote this song, right?
Sure. Because it was her dog too, so
it was our dog, and actually she was the one who started with the dog rescue, like the pit bull rescue.
Oh, okay.
She saw a Facebook thing or like a call for action back in I don't know what. Oh, this dog needs help. She's like, babe, this dog needs help. I was like, yeah, so do I. You know, like
right.
and
we
she
all
drove down to a city shelter in I don't know where, in Queens or Brooklyn or whatever.
Wow.
Just pulled out this like giant dog, and brought it to my apartment in Brooklyn where I could have dogs, no problem. And that's how it started. So we found that dog a home, and then we kept fostering dogs until we had Bianca, who was with us for years, and she was present in all their gigs and all the stuff. She even peed at the 55 bar during my drum solo.
That's funny.
No relation to the drum solo.
Right.
Just,
yeah,
you know.
Sure.
Wow. She wrote the song called "Little Fears," and which was also nominated. So this album was nominated for two Grammys.
The song
year.
too.
Yeah. So one of the songs.
Yeah.
Was nominated. Was nominated for best jazz performance.
Oh wow!
And that song, the whole idea behind it is that it's from a perspective of someone in a cage, or like someone who's trapped in against their will, and you can, and so she wrote that, and she wrote another one called "The Bridge," which is where dogs kind of go to die, like the Rainbow Bridge.
Okay,
know?
Sure, yeah.
So it talks about like dogs go to heaven, and then another song called "Travel," which is a poem by Edna St. Vincent Millay from like the 1920s, and she set it to music. And I arranged and orchestrated and made it what it is now.
Wow.
So we're really good collaborators.
Yeah. That's cool.
So she earned it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
See, Nicole, I lift you up. Don't say
hey. No, that's great. I mean, that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
I don't know how else, I know that's a silly thing to say. I don't know how else to put it.
It's wild for me too. I mean,
you got something going on.
We're talking about it as if it's normal, but it happened like what, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and I'm only now starting to realize the magnitude or the the potential impact, where I'm starting to get calls to like go play festivals.
Is that right?
Wow. A little bit.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Herbie is not really knocking on my door yet, but
wow. Yeah. Give it time. Hey, you never know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you might get more the playing opportunities that you originally dreamed of.
Either playing, yeah.
You know, some of them. That would be.
I'm happy.
Then you would have it all. Imagine that.
I don't know, but I'm happy to play, and I'm happy to go out as a band leader.
Sure.
And I'm happy to also stay home and write and arrange and do that type of work.
Yeah. How does the Grammy committee or whatever, how do they become aware of your work?
Someone from the Academy can submit your work for consideration.
Okay.
It can be a recording label or anyone.
Okay.
So it was submitted on the ballot, and then, we told our friends about it, and we told our peers about it, and, we put out some videos from the session, and like, hey,
sure,
please consider, listen to this, listen to that, and that's pretty much it. There's not much you can do or allowed to do. There's like guidelines and rules. You're not supposed to say, "Hey, vote for me and vote for me for this category or this." You're not allowed to say any of that stuff.
Yeah.
All you can do is really just like submit the project with the liner notes, and
they'll decide where it fits.
And then,
whatever.
and then sometimes they have committees who listen to everything and make sure that first of all that the category which you submitted in is actually the right category that represents your style.
Yeah.
So this was in Best Large Jazz Ensemble. But if this was a trio and I had submitted it in Best Large Jazz Ensemble, it would be removed from that category and it would transfer somewhere else, either like jazz performance or something like that. So you have to go through that process first.
Did it end up where you submitted it, or did
this was submitted for Large Ensemble.
Okay.
But also it got picked up for uh, arrangement.
Oh, wow.
As well as jazz performance. And then we got nominated in November. We got nominated in 2 categories, which is great for the ego and for the career and for the
Sure.
it's like a nice milestone for the thing. But if you think of it from just like a voting, like a Grammy type of Grammy game point of view, it kind of goes against you because you're not allowed and not supposed to say, okay, we're nominated for these 2, so please vote for me for either this or that or both. And voting members can only vote in like 10. They only get like up to like 10 votes or 15 votes.
Yeah.
But across 3 fields, and each field has a few genres, a few categories in them. So like there's like one field that has jazz, musical theater, and I don't remember,
Yeah.
And then there's children music with R&B, and I don't know.
Yeah.
So the way they divide it up like that is to make sure that experts vote in their expertise,
Right.
and not just like all the Geschäft and the whatever you call it, behind the scenes of like you vote for me, I vote for you type of thing.
Oh, I see.
They make sure that it's legit.
Right.
I'm a jazz guy, and I'm in arranging, composing, things like that. I can only vote in those fields,
Right.
Because that's my expertise.
Right.
So that you can't just like, But and when we were sitting there, the first category came up, and we lost.
Oh.
The best jazz performance came up, and we lost to Samara Joy.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, yay, we lost to Samara Joy.
Oh, wow.
Better than,
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we won with the best large ensemble album, which was all I really wanted for this project in the first place.
I see.
The other nominations I wasn't really expecting.
Wow.
I didn't know how to eat them up, and
were you surprised?
I was surprised. Yeah, I'm still surprised.
Yeah.
Also, like the artists in the other categories. I mean, the artists in the category that we were nominated with are like my idols.
Oh, wow.
Jeff Hamilton and John Clayton, big band, and Miguel Zenon and Orrin Evans.
Well, they know who you are now, right?
If they care, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they must be like, who's this guy that won? That's awesome.
Whatever.
Wow, no, whatever. No, that's exciting. That's exciting. I mean, at least, that's got to anyway. Yeah, that's got to be exciting. When you, like you say, when you have all these ideas, or how you think it should be, and then you make that thing. I guess that's why the Grammys exist, right? Because you were happy with your project. You were happy.
Yeah,
with
I'm happy with the project. I'm super proud of it.
Yeah.
It's not always that I can say that.
Right. Do you think this is your best work?
So far. Yeah.
Your best work so far.
So far.
So that's gratifying, right?
Yeah, that's like a nice documentary of.
You don't feel like, oh, now that you know who I am, you should have heard the 3 record albums ago, right? No. You feel like you're.
No, I'm proud of this, and I'm happy that I did it, and I followed my gut and my dream, and I listened to nobody.
Not even your wife.
Especially.
Yeah.
No, she was on board, but she's more of a. I'm the dreamer, kind of.
Oh, really?
I'm like, babe, let's do an orchestra, and we'll book a gig, and we'll pay everybody, and there won't be any money coming in.
Right.
But we'll do it, and it'll be great. She's like, you're retarded.
Oh, wow. So she's the one that keeps.
She's the one who keeps us alive.
Hey, well, that's cool. It's a good team.
Yeah.
It's a team.
Yeah.
Wow.
But she was on board, and she loves the big band, and she loves the Nonette, and we're going to play a lot of stuff this year, and I hope we get to see people out there.
Yeah. Where is your where?
We're playing in.
You said in New York.
In New York, we're playing with the Nonette every Tuesday in in March at the Django.
Cool.
And then in April 11th, we're at the Waterbury Palace Theater.
Okay.
That Jazz with the Pauli Club.
Okay.
With the full big band.
Oh, wow.
April 11th, that's a Friday. And then we're in Europe with like her band and things like that. And then we're back and we'll be up in Hartford in August. No, Cheshire. All the gigs are on our websites, my websites, and I don't even remember.
And in the meantime, you're just playing drum gigs when you get them or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Just doing it.
Yeah, whatever, anything.
Yeah.
You can see me play at Cafe 9 or at a wedding or at
Yeah. It's always the way it is.
Man, that's why I'm here. Like, imagine I gave up, I left everything behind, like, because like I immigrated from Tel Aviv. I left everything behind, so I can like go after this.
Yeah.
So I don't. I really appreciate every gig I have.
Yeah, right.
Even if it's trash.
Sure.
Because I know what it is to work at a coffee shop or a moving company. I did it all. It all, and I would do it again. Like no problem.
Yeah. I hear you. But playing drums is better.
Playing drums is better and it's fun and it's great and it's great for me and it's great for everybody else. But if I need to work $9 an hour at Dunkin' Donuts, no shame in doing that also.
Right. Yeah.
No problem.
I hear you. Wow.
Whatever buys me another snare drum.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Why? How many? Wait, that's your thing?
I think I'm sitting on like 8 snare drums.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All Pearl. I'm a Pearl guy. I'm
wow.
a Pearl fanatic and I'm a Pearl artist also. So
wow.
They give me a little bit of discount.
Yeah.
Just enough to keep me...
Yeah.
Dangle the carrot.
Wow. Yeah, that's funny.
No, but I love them. And so I have a nice Pearl at home, like a Masterworks with like golden hardware and all that crap. And
so they're not going to, if you win a Grammy, you get a better deal with them or no?
If anything, they'll say, "Oh, you have a Grammy, you buy us the."
I
know.
Wow. All right.
No, I mean, how many drums do you really need? Like I have a kit in the car, a kit upstairs.
Yep. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I have 3 kits. No, 1. I have 3 kits now. It's the most I've ever had ever. Like it just feels extravagant.
But you're a vintage guy, right? You have those Ludwigs and Slingerland and Rogers or whatever.
I have a Premier.
Yeah, I know Premier.
Pre-67. So an old Premier, a 72 Ludwig, and then another Ludwig that's half 60s, half 80s. All
very cool.
Recovered, kinda, yeah. If you're a rock guy, I look at it like small, medium, large. Like the Premier is for the organ trio gig, and then this one. So I finally have 3, and I was just like, it's such a big deal. I was lucky to have 1 ever.
Do you have a 22? Do you
I have a 22.
Take out
Oh yeah. Yeah, 20, 22, 26 for
You have a 26?
For the Led Zeppelin gig, yeah.
Can you fit it in the overhead?
Barely. No, not in the overhead, not on the plane. No. In the car, yeah. No, playing the 26 is a whole other thing. I like it.
Yeah.
But it's different.
What, the see-through one? The big one? The Bonham one?
Yeah, 26 by 14.
Wow.
So it's cool. I never cared, but it changes everything. It really does. Because I realized, I don't know if this is a parallel of anything that we were saying before, but it's kind of like with the nonette trying to sound like a big band. I realized when you play a big drum, all you have to do is play it, and it'll make a big sound. And I realize a lot of times when I'm playing the rock stuff, I've been stomping on a 22 trying to make that sound. And you realize it's there. You just play it.
Wow, interesting.
It's like, oh. And I have a friend of mine who's been doing it for years, and I talked to him about it. And he says it's just so much more expressive. Because with the 22, I'm just stepping on it. With this, I'm like, oh, you can really get the beater off the head. It's a lot more expressive.
Wow, you can control the dynamics on that monster?
I'm kind of getting into that a little bit more. I'm starting to explore that, and I'm like, oh, ghost notes on the bass drum. This is a whole other thing.
I wouldn't know how to handle a 26-inch bass drum.
You might be surprised. I didn't think so either, but not that big a deal.
Wow, so cool. All I have is, I have a 22, but I stopped taking it out.
Yeah.
I have a 20 for me, a big rock gig, like a wedding gig, is a 20-inch. That's
right.
And even then, I get trouble for it. They're like, "Oh, well, can't you bring a 22?" I was like, "You bring a 22."
Yeah. Oh well, that's what happens. All right, we got to get out of here.
All right.
Thank you for coming again. I really
you.
appreciate it. I wanted to acknowledge and kind of celebrate the Grammy.
You
winners.
guys are the best here.
Oh, hey, you hear that, Dave?
Hey,
We're the best here. Why not?
it
Thank you.
works. We'll take it.
Yeah, no, we'll take it. Look, poor Dave. So we thought you were going to bring the Grammy.
I know.
Dave got this all. You can't see it over here. He's all excited,
I'll fly
and then you're like, I don't get it for 9 months or
That's
whatever.
all right. When you get it, we'll have to come back.
Yeah, we'll have
Yeah.
to come back.
get-
We'll have to come back, or you guys can come over to us.
Hey, you know what I'm saying?
You know?
we'll figure it out.
We're in West Haven on the beach, so
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
come
one day.
get some pizza or something.
Yeah,
You
no,
know.
I'm down with that. All right, Dan Pugach, here we go. You cool?
I'm cool.
All right. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
John Peckman Podcast, Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance, beautiful downtown Portland, Connecticut. Come over the bridge, pull a Yui, park in front of the music store with the red neon light. We have vinyl here. And like, subscribe, tell your friends, have your own podcast. Dave will tell you how. Grammy Award winner Dan Pugach is here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Have a good one. That is all.
If you'd like to start your own podcast, give us a call at Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance. Our professionally designed podcast space is here for all your recording needs. Rent out our studio to do interviews with up to 4 people, to record audiobooks, social media content, and all other recorded material. Our rentals include a private studio along with our professional-grade podcasting equipment, and we can customize your output to whatever your needs are. We also have green screen capabilities, which will expand to video capability if you so wish. So check us out here at convalley.net/podcast.